Hey there, everybody. It's Haberdashing here, talking a little bit today about recording and what you need to do to get the best bang for your buck from your microphone for your podcasts. And I do this just so the producers will like us and so we can get the best content out there for everyone listening. I know we have a lot of veterans in the show that kind of already know their way around the ropes. But there's also plenty of new people to the network that may not be as comfortable setting up their audio. So this is kind of for everyone. Things I'm going to be covering this is setting up your audio recording, whether it's in Audacity or some other program. I'm using Mixcraft here today. That's the normal one that I use. And I'm using it here just so I can show you various audio files in the same project. It's a little bit easier in this one. I'm going to be covering adjusting your audio levels to reduce background noise as much as possible and adjusting your mic placement to get the best audio recording you can possibly get. So, the very first thing you want to do before you start recording a podcast is go into Audacity or whatever program you use and create a test file. So you can go ahead and do this. Make sure you're selecting the right input, whatever microphone you're going to be using for recording. Once that's all set up, go ahead and just do a test. So this may be up here what your first test file may look like. You can see in here there's like a lot of background noise, and we can actually listen to it right now. This is a test recording of an audio piece. This is a test recording of an audio piece. So the biggest problem normally when people are recording is trying to eliminate background noise. And when you live like in a residential area, you don't have as much insulation, or you're not really trying to set up an area, there can be a lot of background noise that comes in, whether it's from your computer fans, your AC, other fans in the room, people in the room or around the room, noise from outside. It can all come into your recording here. So you want to make sure you find a place where you're not going to be disturbed, that's going to be as insulated and as quiet as possible. And if you can't find one of those, try to set up your room to be as insulated as possible using things like foam, egg cartons, cardboard to insulate, as well as just like a big heavy blanket you can drape behind you, behind your microphone, or on the wall. If that's picking up a lot of background noise, that can really help to reduce the noise coming into the microphone. So it just focuses on your audio, your voice. So this is not the level of recording you should be shooting for when sending in your audio. So when you kind of eliminate all those things and try to test again, you may find that your audio now looks a bit more like this. You can see it's much more clean. It's cleaner than the last one that I recorded because I tried to eliminate all the fans and everything else going on in the room as much as I can hear it. So if you go to listen to this one, this is a test recording of an audio. You can still hear like that slight hissing, sizzling in the background as well. If I go forward more, like that right there, things like that. It still picks up a lot of things like moving in your chair, clicks on your keyboard, your mouse, anytime you accidentally bump into your microphone stand. That all gets picked up and can be put into your audio recording, which is not good. So the next thing I want to talk about is then placement for your microphone. So I'm going to go ahead and blow up my picture here. Optimally, where you want to be when you're first setting up your recording is no more than like a palm's length away from the microphone. And you can get up like right up next to it too. That's never going to hurt the audio. That's only going to make it sound better when you're recording. But just for a comfortable distance, shoot for the length of your palm when you're speaking into the microphone. Once you have this sort of length established, then you can go into setting up levels either through like a control board that you may have or through Windows like recording devices right here to adjust your levels. So if you go into levels right here, that's where you can then go in to set up your audio once you've established that distance. So when you're setting up that audio and want to pick a good volume to record at, I'm going to do a new channel here. On this one, it's really nice because I can see like in that bar how loud it is when I'm recording, as well as how loud it is when I'm not speaking. Optimally, there shouldn't be anything when I'm not speaking. And when I am speaking, it should be hitting between 60 to 80% full of that meter. I never want to get it to 100, but if it's less than 60%, then the person who's then editing your audio later is going to have to bump it up, and it ends up distorting the audio anyways. So you want to shoot for about 60 to 80% of the volume, that volume meter when you are setting up for recording. That's the target. That's the best place you're going to get your audio from. So once you do that, it only can pick up what you're saying from your mouth instead of everything else around the room. If you have the mic set too hot, it's going to be able to pick up all the different echoes in the room coming off from the wall, small noises from your fan, anything else. But the lower you can set your microphone, while still maintaining like a good amount of decibels in that meter, the less amount of noise it's going to pick up when you're not speaking, because it gets so quiet that it can't then register from the microphone to your computer. And that's the biggest thing. So once you feel you have a good judge on that, this is what it should sound like. You can notice here when I'm not speaking. Oh, hold on. Yeah, now you can notice when I'm not speaking, there's nothing going on in the audio. You could delete this and it would sound the exact same here. There's nothing coming through besides like a small like mouse click here and there. And the audio from it when it comes in, this is a test recording of an audio piece. Immediately nothing. That is the audio you want to be shooting for. So just a few reminders when you're setting up. Try to make sure you're not any farther away from the microphone than this. Set up your audio to be about 60 to 80% on that bar, whether it's in here or Audacity. Try to eliminate any kind of background noise from your fans or anything else in the room. And as one final last note, if you know you're going to be talking louder than normal, you can adjust where you speak into the microphone instead of the microphone levels in post. So if I'm going to be talking louder, I can back away from the microphone and it'll still pick up a good amount of volume. Because if I spoke right here at the same volume, it'd be going off the charts and then it would sound really shitty. On the other hand, if you want to speak slower and closer to the microphone, like Hourglass, that is advisable. One last thing, when you're exporting your audio for your producer, make sure you're doing it in MP3 format. That's going to be much appreciated. It's a much smaller, much easier size to work with for uploading and downloading. Don't worry about the loss in quality. It's nothing that wouldn't already be lost over the airwaves, over streaming or downloading or recompressing it into an MP3 format for the final show. So, yep, MP3 is the way to go for that. Hope everyone learned a little bit of something. If you have any other questions, just give me a shout out.